check. Go ahead and just spell your last name, Sheriff, please.
Freitas, F-R-E-I-T-A-S.
Okay, are we good?
Yep.
Okay. So Sheriff, tell us, first of all, why you decided to release this video. It's been months since this incident happened.
Yeah, what changed is that in the criminal process in the court, these items were entered as exhibits in court, and that makes them public information. So as soon as we knew that it was now public and a member of the public or the media could access them, we decided to release everything so that the public could see as much as possible about what happened that night.
And what do you, what does it show from your viewpoint?
I think what it shows is Deputy Holton doing his job. We didn't get called to this event. He was out driving on a road, patrolling like he's supposed to be, and he comes across a group of people. He hears yelling and screaming. I think he says somebody's crying, so he stops to investigate, which is what we want our deputies to do.
And he thought it was a potential domestic violence situation or domestic?
Yeah, he saw somebody crying, he heard yelling, and that definitely could be how domestic violence things, whether they're just starting or whether it's just happened. Yeah, that's what was in his mind.
So he had an obligation to investigate?
Oh, absolutely. We would expect him to. I think our policies and just what we expect here from our deputies, if he had not stopped to investigate, that would not be okay.
Okay, so we see the video shows him at one point opening the door to
Yes.
the sister's car, and that's when, describe what happens and what you think of that.
Our perspective is, well, when Deputy Holton first gets there, he contacts a gentleman, and they have a very polite, calm conversation. That's possibly one half if it's a domestic situation. Then he goes to contact the other person involved, the lady who's sitting in it's a car or a truck, I'm not sure. He goes to contact her, and what happens is Ms. Lemos physically inserts herself into the situation and prevents Deputy Holton from asking the questions to find out what is exactly going on, which of course he has every right to do. He's on a public roadway. He's got a reasonable suspicion that something's wrong, and he's going to investigate because we're concerned. Has someone been hurt? Is somebody gonna get hurt? He's there to protect those people, and he's trying to get the information, and he gets, she interferes with him to do his job.
And did he have the right to open the door, because that was what she was complaining about?
Yeah, he has the right to open the door because he needs to talk to this lady. And so he's opening the door so he can talk to her. She's on a public roadway, and he's investigating a possible crime.
Then things escalate from there. We've got
Yes.
a lot of screaming and women
Yes,
and
absolutely.
probably intoxication.
I think you could infer that there's possibly intoxication. I don't know if anybody was actually tested, but I think I bet the public decide that if they watch the videos.
And describe the behavior. I mean, this officer was trying to de-escalate things.
Well, he sounded very calm to me as it started, and as some more people and it got more aggressive and got more aggravated, he starts to raise his voice to try and, verbally get people to calm down. Eventually, of course, we know that doesn't work, but I think he tried his best.
Okay, so at one point we see her walking away. She says that her mother told her to go to the house, and so she's walking away. Then what happens?
Well, I believe what you're referring to is at this point, it's already been decided that she's going to be arrested for interfering and obstructing him as he's trying to check on to make sure that the other lady's okay.
Okay.
The family members then try and shield her and tell her to, get in the house, go away. Well, he's saying, you're under arrest. And so she's either walking and starting to walk faster, maybe starting to flee. He's going to arrest her, and then he takes her to the ground.
Okay, so that wasn't very clear to me, and I'm watching it in the car, but
Yeah.
that he had made, it wasn't clear that he had made that decision to arrest her. What did she do wrong
Well, when he was trying to talk to the lady in the car or the truck, as we mentioned in the doorway, she physically inserted herself into there and either pushed into him or pushed the door into him. She made it so he couldn't do his job, and that's a violation of law.
Okay, so did he announce to them that he was going to arrest her for what?
I believe so. I've watched the video, but it's been a little while.
Okay.
But I know that, if you watch the video, you can see after that event, he's clearly focused on her and his intention that he's gonna arrest her. But he's there by himself with a pretty hostile group and a lot of people, so he's waiting for backup. Once that happens, then they go to make the arrest, and that's when she starts going away.
Okay, and so her attorney claims that the video clearly shows, although it's very dark and it's hard to see, but he's saying that the officer grabbed her head and pushed her to the ground and took her down.
Yeah, and we acknowledge that Deputy Holton took her to the ground, and that's what we're trained to do. When someone starts resisting, whether they're deputy sheriffs or police officers, we're trained to get people to the ground as soon as possible, because that's the best way to control somebody is on the ground.
So she wasn't complying, I mean, resisting, like, she was walking away, it seemed pretty calmly. She wasn't combative at that point.
Yeah, I think when he goes and gets to her and puts his hands on her, then she starts pulling away and there's a little bit of a struggle. It's very hard to see in the video, I agree. And ultimately what I would say is if her and her family had just complied with what he said, none of this would have happened.
Wow. So, it took a lot of months to bring charges. Why the delay? And as you know, some people are questioning the timing.
Yeah, we don't have anything to do with the timing. That is strictly the decision of the district attorney's office. And sometimes it does take quite a bit of time, but that is not, we don't have anything to do with the decision to file charges or when charges get filed.
So Sheriff, in your mind, what is the bottom line here? What does that video show?
I think the bottom line shows that Deputy Holton is out there doing his job. He's doing what we expect him to do. He is very calm and very polite, and things are going well until people start interfering. Then it goes downhill from there. But I would say my bottom line is if people had simply followed his instructions, answered his questions, none of this would have happened.
Again, what was her crime?
Her crime is interfering with him and not letting him investigate the situation, physically inserting herself in there so that he could not do his job. You hear her saying, you need a warrant to do that. You can't do that. And she's actually getting in on him. Citizens can't do that. He's on a public road investigating a possible domestic violence event. He's required to do that. If we walk away from that and that turns out to be that lady's a domestic violence victim, what would happen then? He's simply trying to do his job.
Okay, so even though her attorney would say, they all told him that everything was fine and that he should have, from there, just left the scene.
We have to talk to the actual person, right? If you tell me it's fine, I need to talk to the person who's involved, because many times people will try and, especially in domestic violence situations, people won't want to talk about that. Victims are reluctant to disclose. So we always try and talk to both parties, and we have to hear from that person that everything is fine. The other thing I would say is you can see in the video, even though it's dark, there's no punches, there's no kicks. She's taken to the ground because she's not complying with his order to be arrested.
Okay, and he says stop.
I don't know if I hear
Yeah.
exactly the word stop
Yeah.
on there. I would encourage people to watch the video to see exactly what it says. And the other thing I would add is, look how Deputy Holton is treated there. Other deputies show up, look how they're treated there. He's treated very differently. I think when you take the whole thing into context, when you take the context of the jail audio tapes, I would have the public decide why Deputy Holton was treated the way he was.
Okay, so there were some racial undertones, I know, in those.
I don't think that undertones does it justice, quite frankly. I think it's absolutely abhorrent, the words that are on that recording.
So what do you think? What do you think the underlying?
I think the underlying thing is I would really, if the public gets a chance, I know you can't, you have to have a time constraint on TV and you have
Sure.
to edit it, but I would encourage the public to go on our social media sites and watch the whole thing in context. Listen to the tapes, watch all the videos, and let the public decide.
Okay, and the officer is African American, I take it?
Yes, he is.
Okay, because I couldn't tell from the video, but I assumed that was
Yeah,
the
so the
case.
video's facing out, yes, he is.
Okay, and so is he back, is he on the job, is it?
Absolutely, yeah, he's back to work, and I absolutely support his actions that night. He was out doing what we expect deputies to do, patrolling, and his was concerned that maybe someone was injured, or maybe there was a crime, and he was investigating to make sure that that lady was okay.
Okay, what do you hope happens on the criminal end? I mean, you think she should be prosecuted?
Absolutely. Yes, and then I'll let that process take its place. I absolutely support the criminal justice system and the way it works. That is entirely up for a jury to decide.
Okay, and you don't know why the delay?
No, I don't know why the delay.
Okay, very good. I think we're